girls, grab your beers.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie from Anthrax, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
This is Mark Metcalf, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio.
You are listening to today's Boondoggle with Bailey on Domain Cleveland Radio. Yes, Kato Kalin listens to this all the time.
Welcome to today's Boondoggle. Now here's your host.
I am Monty Heath, so one Heath, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle.
Hey, what's up? It's John from Skillet, and you are listening to today's Boondoggle on Domain Cleveland Radio.
Fasten your seatbelts.
What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And real quick housekeeping note, if you are watching us on YouTube or Rumble or BitChute or Odyssey, please hit that follow and subscribe button. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever podcast platform you utilize, please hit that follow and subscribe button so I can continue bringing you conversations like the one I'm bringing you today. Really stoked to be talking with Jager Henry. What's going on, man?
How are you? It's nice to meet you.
Good, man. Nice to meet you too. So usually when I have people on for the first time, I like to get a quick background. But obviously knowing the family history and stuff, but do you remember as a kid what you originally wanted to be when you grew up?
Oh, wow. There was different ages. When I was younger, it was I wanted to play soccer or football, as we would call it, for Manchester United. And then when I got to about 14, I wanted to be a professional tennis player. But I always made music. I was always messing around with the drums and stuff, and I just kind of always steered clear from it because I was expecting the shoes it would be to fill. And then, just finally came back to it. So I guess, yeah, soccer player, tennis player was the original dream when I was a kid. But as I grew older, I kind of knew where my shoes were supposed to be worn.
Yeah, it was kind of in the DNA, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
And then what was it like, other than, the obvious in the household, but what was some of your earliest influences that kind of, got you into wanting to start doing music yourself?
I would say Limp Bizkit. Chocolate Starfish was the song that kind of made me be like, wow, I feel good. I was
nice.
A kid going to school listening to that. Probably shouldn't have been listening to it at the age I was, but, Dad, we had our fun in the car on the way to school. It was just always something that, was that song that, gave me the energy, and then one day I was like, I want to make a song that gives me energy. And, unfortunately not a drummer. I do play, but it's not my thing. And I just kind of took this path up. I always say to people when they're like, how come you don't do this? And I was like, well, I saw their shoes and I kept walking forward and found a pair of my own.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny too, because here I am, even at 51 years old, and I saw, I think Limp Bizkit was at Sonic Temple this year, Danny Wimmer Festival here in Ohio. And it still gives me that energy, and I'm throwing my hip out and everything, just trying to keep up with Fred and everybody. But
especially break stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's over. It's over.
And then, for you, what was the music scene like in your hometown growing up?
I grew up in Florida. The music scene was beautiful. It was there wasn't too many people doing it, but a lot of people were influenced by it. So it was kind of cool. I remember going to school and people having ciphers in the cafeteria, where everyone would freestyle. There's a couple kids from my hometown that I still talk to. They're great artists. A kid named Talkless and a guy named Mad Kelly, two locals out there. Sick music, kind of like a new metal feel. So it was cool. There wasn't many people out there doing it. Seemed like everybody else just wanted to go to the beach and drink. But the scene was cool, and when I moved over to LA, it was just a whole different ball game. It's like everybody here is, attempting to do it.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the spot, and it's got to be tough, not getting lost in the shuffle sometimes over there. But what were, when you first started getting into playing, were there any other projects you were involved with before, kind of like you said, walking in your own shoes?
I mean, yeah, I played bass in a band in high school. That was kind of funny. I played drums in another little band. We were kids. We had our fun though, like we got to play a show in the Hooters parking lot.
Nice.
We peaked right there. It was sick. But yeah, I mean, I messed about. I was in I even joined like a hip hop group at one point, and it was cool. It was definitely all part of the path, and that's the part I love about it. Is it taught me so many different genres. It taught me so many different styles, so many different routes that I kind of influence it all today on towards the music.
Nice. I like that the Hooters parking lot show.
Yeah,
I don't know if you happen to catch any of the viral videos that have come out of Cleveland and my neck of the woods out here. They've done these Baja Blasts in this Taco Bell parking lot, total like punk rock.
Oh my God, that's sick.
They call them Baja Blasts. You gotta check out. Those things have gone viral.
That's
They're
insane.
on TikTok and everything like that. So shout out to those guys doing the Baja Blasts.
That's actually iconic.
And then, obviously, I mean, we've been kind of, with the innuendo or whatever, but, the grandson of John Bonham, son of Jason Bonham. We were talking about earlier out, being at the gym and stuff. I have this Army veteran, old Army veteran friend of mine that I run into in my community and talk to all the time. He's an old school Led Zeppelin fan, old school, Black Sabbath fan and stuff. And I saw him at the gym earlier today, and I'm like, hey man, you're not going to believe this. I've got an interview set up. I'm going to be talking to the grandson of John Bonham. And he's just like all stoked. I'm like, if there was any questions that you could ask him, what would it be? So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. I kind of cheated a little bit, but
yeah, no, that's cool. I like that.
Shout out to Dan Eberhardt, local Army veteran.
Thanks for your service, Dan.
He's actually got tickets to go see your dad next month when he comes through Cleveland.
Oh my God, amazing.
And stuff. He goes all the time. He absolutely loves it. But he wanted me to ask you, other than someone named Bonham, which other hard rock, heavy metal drummers from the late 60s, early 70s were the most influential in your opinion?
Oh, wow. Oh my God. That's like one of those questions that's like stumped me. That's an insane question too. Wow. Never did I think I would ever get stumped on an interview. Wow. From the 60s too? I don't even know many drummers from back then. I kind of just grew up being like granddad, Yeah. That's all I really knew. I mean, Dave Grohl, but that's not the 60s. He was definitely an influential drummer, though. I would literally have to see a list of drummers from 60s, 70s to like even be able to answer this, because I'm so terrible with names too. It's like one of those things where like someone I'm practicing to be better at it, but I just know bands or something.
Yeah, I was telling Dan, I was like, I don't know, I mean,
it's a deep question.
But you mentioned, you just knew him as granddad. I mean, what was what was that like growing up and then kind of hearing his catalog?
It was weird. It was one of those things where like I was just like kind of heard like growing up in England at the time, it was just granddad. Everyone at the pub was like, oh, your granddad was such a great man. Or, grandma was always like, yeah, your granddad would have loved you, and this and that. And then I moved to America, and it was like everywhere I looked, it was so weird. It was like somebody had the shirt on or this and that. And someone would be like, oh, like, can you get me this? Like, because I would have kids ask me in school, can you get me an autograph? And in my head, I'm like, how would he sign anything? But it was like I kind of took into the realization of like how much it was as I grew up. And then like one day going to my grandma's house and just seeing how many plaques were on the wall when I finally understood that myself. And I was just like, oh wait, they like really did this. Like it wasn't a small band.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
funny because I mess with people because people will come up to me and they'll be like, oh, isn't your granddad like a big drummer? And I'll be like, yeah, he used to play like the weddings and stuff. He was sick. And it's just because it's like, like, although I'm proud of who he was and who he is and the legacy he left, it's like sometimes, it can be that thing where I'm like, it's not always a topic of discussion. It's like, and that's why I kind of changed with the name from Jager Bonham to Jager Henry, because it's like I'd love people to find me for my music than my name. And there's like a secret message in it because it's like my granddad's middle name is the same as mine. He was John Henry Bonham. So I still have the name there. People just don't realize it. But no, I couldn't even name you an influential drummer from 60s, 70s. I mean, bands, Pink Floyd. What year was that? I'm about to be roasted online for people thinking I'm.
Yeah, no, that I mean, you're talking about like jamming to like Limp Bizkit and stuff, like in the car rides with your dad, who's also done so much in the music industry. What was that relationship like? And especially when you told him, hey, I want to walk in my own shoes, but I want to be in the music industry as well.
Yeah, I mean, he always kind of saw me going towards music because I remember every Christmas I would get like a microphone or an interface or a new download for the, computer system to record better. He kind of always helped me understand that it was okay what I was doing, but it wasn't really about until 2 years ago I sent him some music. I was like, what do you think? He was like, oh, it's all right, not bad. You're finding your way. And then I remember I sent him this project, Heart of Thorns, just entirely. And he was just like, oh, crap. Like, first time I ever really, like, stumped my dad, where he was like, wait, oh, my God, wait. Like, we got to figure out what to do with this. Like, this is crazy. And I was like, did I just stump you? And he was like, yeah, pretty much. And I was like, it was the craziest feeling because it's like growing up with a dad who was always touring and busy. When he was there, he definitely made the time fun. But, there was also times I got to go on the tours for a little bit. And I'm sure I was a pain in the butt to everybody else on the bus, So it was definitely a fun upbringing with its pros and cons, There was times you got to see Pops and then there's times, you didn't. But I still, like, just like how I knew Granddad as Granddad, I just knew him as Dad. Like, it wasn't until like probably 2 years ago when I saw him, or not even 2 years ago, that was 4 or 5 years ago, when I saw him play a show and I like kind of took into grasp, I was like, every single person is here for him. With the JBLZE thing, I was like, the other guys on stage, they're great artists, but they're not named. I was like, these people are here for him. And it was like the weirdest realization. I remember sitting back and being like, that's so confusing. I was like, why? Like,
well,
but
like I was mentioning earlier with Dan Eberhardt, it's just like every time I see him in the community and we talk at events, he knows I'm a big music fan. We always talk music. And, he's always like, Jason's coming through town again. I got tickets. Me and my wife are going, and just it starts telling his stories, getting from an older generation, his influences and stuff, and how much your family has impacted him. So as soon as I knew I was talking to him, I was like, hey, I gotta let this guy know.
You'll have to send me like an address or something so I can send you guys some vinyl. We just got our vinyls in, so I'd love to send him one over.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'd be awesome, dude. Yeah.
Available now. The shameless plug. It's like my proudest work because I fully designed the vinyl to look like a certain way.
Yeah, I love it. It looks like kind of what the one track Bleed, huh? Is that influenced a little bit?
Yeah, that's like how I kind of had it. I was like, I want it to look like it's like bleeding, but it's like someone's tried to clean it up.
That's your blood, sweat, and tears poured into that. project.
Actually, yeah, to be exact.
Well, I liked how you said too, going back real quick to your dad, how you stumped him. You got to play this for him. You've been working on this, you've walking in your own shoes, making your own name, creating this project, and then you finally stumped him. And it kind of reminds me of like, all of us kind of growing up, whatever our relationships are with our dad, we always kind of want that fatherly approval. And that's like getting like
it was like a pat on the back.
Right there.
Yeah, it was a very weird feeling for me because like I'm an emotional person deep down. Obviously, all artists truly are. And it was like one of those moments that like I'll never forget. Like the moment my dad called me and like was like, holy, what did you create? And I was like, what? I was like, do I get to say grace at Christmas dinner this year? Like,
That's awesome.
It's just been a great experience. I think the people I met out in LA too have definitely helped influence and, find truly who I am. Like I was scared to do this move because, it's a new city, didn't know anybody, but the friends I met along the way are just like family to me now. It's like irreplaceable. It'll never, as I say, like my friend said, well, what if you never make it? And I said, well, first off, you don't think like that. And I said, but technically, dude, I kind of already have. Because I've met some people who I'll never forget, some memories that I'll never erase. And it's just been such a journey. Like there's things that have happened that I'll never be able to do again or, never really get the grip or grasp of it and understanding it. So it's kind of like, it feels like, you're already there. Like when you have friends that lift you up or a circle that's kind of like artists that want to see you win and don't just want to be better than you. It's a high that, nothing will ever match. So it kind of feels like we've already done it, but obviously we're going to keep working and pursuing this dream.
Yeah. Well, I mean, mad respect too. It's just like, it could have been so easy to just kind of go on the family name, but stepping out, like to fill your own shoes on your own journey and doing it your way, like leaving home, going out there, and making it happen. It's just, I said that's that much respect for that. And obviously, that's what made Dad super proud for him to call you and say you're killing it, And
it's cool. It's cool that we get to tour together sometimes. Like we're doing 5 shows together in December where I'm going to open up for him. And the first time I did it, I hated it. I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. These guys are, the crowd are not going to like me. And it actually was a great response. So I did enjoy it. But now I kind of just took it into perspective where whether the crowd like it or not, like this is a memory I get to share with my dad that he never got to do with his. And one day I'm going to be able to have my own son and be like, back in the day, me and Granddad used to tour around, calling him Granddad will be scary, but we used to travel the world together, father, son, and it's just something it's just so cool to put in the memory books.
Dude, yeah, that's amazing. And too, after I left the gym, I sent Dan, a couple of your videos from YouTube. I said, well, here, check them out, and he's just like, I dig it. So it's like, there you are, man. It'd been nice if you were doing the opening on the Cleveland show next month.
Yeah, we were supposed to, but then we're on tour in November with a band called Let Down. But I think we do play near Cleveland. I'll have to double check, but I know we're playing like Salt Lake City, Utah, Denver, Colorado, New York, stuff like that. So it's like we might have a Cleveland show. I'll have to check. But if we do, I'll reach back out and I'll send you some tickets because that'd be cool to see you and Dan.
Yeah, that'd be great for sure, man. And then, going back to the album, now you're just showing off how awesome the vinyl looks. But Heart of Thorns, what was the inspiration for the name? And is there like a message or theme in the album?
Yeah, I mean, there's some songs that are deeper than, people could physically understand that like even I will be like, I won't tell you really what it means, but because I love when listeners can kind of create their own story. Like that's my favorite thing about music. Like when I heard, you know, what's a good example? Like Led Zeppelin, Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, right? Like we don't know the actual story of that, who that's about or anything like that. So it's like we all grasp our own connection to it. So there's some songs that I wrote with the intention that it's kind of like you decide, I guess would be the word. Like you decide your own story on it. But the whole point of Heart of Thorns was there was a time in my life where I felt like unlovable, kind of lost. And like anytime someone got close, I would like poke them away. Like my heart was kind of made of thorns. So that stuck with me for a long time. And when creating this project, me and my producer, Noah Thomas, were just riffing around. And I literally just blurted out. I was like, 'cause my heart's made of. And he was like, oh my God. Like, and we just started working right on that. And it was just such a beautiful moment because it felt like it wasn't rushed. Like this is something I'd been saying, you know, I'm better now, you know, been working on myself and all that. And it was kind of like it came back around from years. Like I'm talking like 3-4 years ago, I was saying this. And then it came back around to that producing moment. And it was like, boom, the story finally gets to get told, which is a beautiful full circle. I love stuff like that because then it doesn't feel like, oh, I have this idea and we have to pressure it to work right now. It's like the beauty of it just happened, you know? And it's like a double entendre because it's like, I'm not just talking about my own heart in a period of my life. There's people out there in the world that do feel like love can't get too close to them. And it's like,
yeah, you're hitting me in the chest right now, brother, honestly, because it's like, I'm in recovery. I'm 15 years sober, you know, and man, I did a lot of damage back in the day. And I'm in this beautiful relationship now, and we're about to celebrate 1 year together. And it's like actually the first relationship that I've, you know, tried to open myself up so much to as a sober, clear-minded man. But
congrats.
I've been self-sabotaging, like almost like trying to ruin it, feeling unworthy. And that like you were saying, that Heart of Thorns pushing away. So damn, you're really getting me, man.
And that's like kind of like the whole story of it. Like, with like the whole song, the whole EP starting out with Heart of Thorns, right? Like we're starting out, we're being open, we're being honest about that problem that we have or that partner might have, because it can be both ways. You know, there's sometimes where you give someone, because there's been times where I've provided so much love and then it feels like I'm the one getting stabbed away. So it's kind of like it's got that thing, and then it's that track deja vu. It feels like I've done this a million times. And it kind of tells the story between love and life, because my favorite song, Mortal Sacrifice, is about me losing friends who were, you know, trying to be in recovery. And they're some of my best friends. And I lived with some of them, and unfortunately they're no longer here. And it kind of felt like when people hear me say it, they think I'm saying immortal, like I'm going to live forever, but I'm saying mortal. Like I felt like a mortal sacrifice that was sacrificed and put on earth to watch everything around him burn. So it's kind of got like a different play on everything. Like when I'm talking about like that song, because it's like the beginning of the album is kind of, it's the love, it's the emotion, it's the way our heart feels. And like by the end, it's talking about the dark roads that people go down. Right. And like, that's why Mortal will always have like the biggest place in my heart, because I didn't want to just make this sad piano ballad that I've made before. I wanted to talk about the fact that sometimes I feel like I was left behind when I should have been the one to go. You know, like some of my friends, they were way too kind, way too nice, way too good of people to be leaving the earth that early. And it kind of felt like I was sacrificed, like from, you know, a past life to watch everything, you know, fall down.
Yeah, man, that's deep, man. And I can relate. And that's, you know, the single too for Heart of Thorns. I was checking out the music video and stuff, and, you know, saw like the, I mean, I was raised a little Catholic boy, altar boy, all that stuff. So I saw the, the
church, the nuns.
Yeah, the church references and stuff like that, you know, and could kind of like relate to that. How did connecting with Lil Lotus and working with him on that, how did that come to be for you?
Well, Lotus has been a friend for a minute now, and he's a great guy, just genuine sweetheart, right? Like all those face tattoos, but he's a teddy bear. We were in his house recording the song with my friend Noah, and I was like, yo, any ideas for a cool second verse? And he kind of laid something down for like an idea, like, just scribbling on the mic. And I was like, why doesn't that stay? And it kind of just happened so naturally, and that's why I loved it. It was so random. Like he was just kind of like giving his input, like not being like, let me jump on it, or not me being like, yo, jump on it. It was kind of like when someone just picks up the mic and they're like humming a melody idea. And I was like, and he just kind of said words. And I was like, wait, that's perfect. Because it just was like, he didn't really think it was going to be a feature. It was more like it just kind of happened. But yeah, he's literally the sweetest kid in the world. Him and Noah and Sachi, it's been a pleasure making this project with them. It's just crazy.
Nice. And then, the video, where was that filmed at? I like the background locations and stuff.
That was filmed at like an abandoned church that a lady owns that she rents out. And people, it's funny because we had an email where some brand wasn't going to promote our video because they said it was blasphemy. They were like, we're not going to promote this. This is blasphemy. And I was like, is it really though? Because it's not like anything bad happens. Like the whole point of showing religion in the song is because love is like religion, right? Yeah. We all have different beliefs. Partners, everything. We all believe different things. I might believe in this. You might believe in this. And it's like how there's many different religions. Like in love, there's many different beliefs. And some people in relationships might not agree with the thing their partner does. But it's like, it was kind of a play on like how we all have our own beliefs, but it's in the end, we can all come together.
Yeah, no, I like that. And then I was, as I was going down the video rabbit hole, I was checking out Bite Down. What was
Great song.
Yeah,
I love that song. Sorry, not to. I was like bragging. I was like, I love that song though.
No, I definitely enjoyed it too. Like, what was the message with that one, or inspiration for that song?
There was a time in my life where I was scared that I would no longer be around. I was partying a lot and I was having fun and I was terrified. I was like watching Friends and stuff like that. And that's kind of what influenced me to kind of become sober. But it felt like there was a point where, I wasn't in relationships and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I don't want to die before I learn how to feel, and that song kind of just came to my head and it was sitting in my notes for a little bit, the idea of it. And it just kind of like, it has that message that's like, those soft verses that's like, all right, we're calming down. But then that chorus is like just so true and full of emotion. It's like, nobody wants to die without really knowing what love feels like, or knowing what happiness feels like, or knowing what a true pain might feel like. Like, I believe it or not, like, I didn't even want to die without knowing what heartbreak feels like, because it helps you understand yourself so much more. So it's like, that song is just kind of like that. You just want to scream in the shower. Like, that's why I did the Rain Room. I was like, I literally feel like when I'm in the shower and I'm just screaming if I'm going through a bad day or something like that, like, that's how that makes me feel.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you caught a cold after filming that video in the Rain Room.
No, the Rain Room was hot. It was hot water.
Oh, nice.
Crazy. Yeah. And, I did forget to bring extra clothes, so I had to drive home in those. I forgot. I thought when they sent me the Rain Room, it was around and I stayed dry, but it wasn't. It was the opposite. I stayed wet.
Well, I like what you said too about, not, dying before you get a chance to feel things. Like my old sponsor would tell me when early on in my recovery, he's like, one of his sayings, and I use it today, is like, the good news is you start to feel again. And the bad news is you start to feel again,
Yeah.
you know, in sobriety, man. And that's just like, I really, you know, connect with that. And then
It's one
what's
of those,
like, oh, go ahead.
it's one of those things like with sobriety, it's like, why did I do this in the first place? Oh, to numb how I feel, and now I want to feel. Like, what? You like lose,
Yeah.
like it's like you confuse your own body. But it's like, I hate to say it, feeling is probably the most beautiful thing about living.
Oh,
if
yeah.
if it hurts or if it feels good, it's like it shows you're real, you know.
Exactly. It's like we're not robots, man. We're human.
Yeah.
We're spiritual beings, you know, having a human experience. And it's like when we numb out with whatever, it's like, you know, I've been, like I said, 15 years sober, but I'll still numb out with some chocolate bars now and then, you know.
Yeah.
And it's
I
just
love,
like,
dude, English chocolate. I keep it by the side. It's my emergency box. If I'm ever having a bad day, I got some English chocolate. Thanks,
exactly.
Mom.
I'm not
sent
the
me
only
that.
one.
Yeah.
But what's been like the, you know, since kind of getting out there and stepping out on your own, what's your creative process been like?
Just kind of like not trying to rush anything and allowing things to happen. But I work with a producer named Noah Thomas, amazing kid. You know, I've worked with other ones like Code Blooded, who's another great producer. He produced Bleed. And we just kind of like riff around and we like let the creativity flow. And if it doesn't, we don't pressure anything, you know. But it's like, I think I write more of my music and design more like set things in my head when I'm just driving around. Like I'll see something and be like, oh, wait, that's cool. And I'll write it down in my notes. So for me, the whole creative process is just kind of like going with the flow. And it sounds super like lame and cliche and lazy, but it's like I've tried to rush before and I didn't make anything that was real. So seeing the process of like letting it happen and the beauty it created with this EP and like how authentic it was to like me, myself, and I, like, is just so cool to like understand that, like, you know, everybody has a different process, and it seems like mine is just kind of like understanding it as I go.
Yeah, and you know, I think that's one of the keys to life, man, is just kind of learning to go with the flow. You know, it's like my biggest issue is I get in my own way too many times.
Yeah.
You know, trying for these expectations, you know. And it's just like I started kind of getting into jujitsu, and I was always like freezing up or in that fight or flight thing. But when my one sensei taught me just like to flow and go with it, that's when things started like, you know, really I started getting it, you know. And it's just with everything, just, you know, it's like I'm a big Star Wars nerd, you know. It's just like getting in the Force, you know. It's just like,
no, it's like Master Yoda. He's like, yeah, relax. Like,
yeah.
I love the have you seen the new one, how they made Yoda look? It's so strange. Like on the which one was it? I was just watching it. It's like, it might be a remake or like the TV series type thing, but I was watching it and I was like, I don't remember Yoda looking like that. And I was so upset. I have to find out which one it was, but we were watching it and me and my friend like looked at each other and we were like, did they change Yoda, or we never noticed that?
I know with the Mandalorian show, they had that baby that looks like Yoda, but it's not Yoda.
One's funny. Yeah, that one's funny though.
Yeah.
But no, it's just going with the flow is the coolest thing about life, you know? And that's it. Life is a journey. Enjoy it. Appreciate it. And that's the hardest thing that people need to really understand. And I'm still learning every single day of my life, is appreciating it, because, you know, it's an old saying, but you really do never know what day will be your last. So it's like, if you kind of let pressure build up, you know, you'll never see the diamond hidden underneath. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And then, you know, I saw that I actually was there, and I missed crossing paths with you or whatever, or getting to catch your set, but Louder Than Life in Louisville.
Sick show.
Yeah. I you know, I was down there, you know, meeting with some sober mutual friends in the industry and hanging out, and like, you know, obviously, Thursday was a good day, and then Friday, complete wash.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah, washed out. We got canceled. We weren't even supposed to play. We played a free
Yeah.
show at the Fox Den that night.
Yeah. So yeah, I was, and it was like, I think we were going to try and go, me and one of my friends at Renee Mata, we're
Yeah.
going to try and catch you guys, but it's like they were all like over capacity, so there was like no getting in.
Oh yeah, every show was
makeup
packed.
shows.
It was crazy. And then we got pulled on to play the next day, which was a blessing. So shout out to Danny Wimmer. That was a dream come true. I didn't want my first festival to go down like that. And we got to play at 5:00 on Saturday and a tent filled. It was insane.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to ask you about that experience though, because I've been a big fan of Danny Wimmer, and like, he has the the Sonic Temple. Used to be Rock on the Range here in my backyard, and then just bought into the Incarceration Festival. So I get I'm blessed with 2 Danny Wimmer festivals a year, and then just started this is my second time going out to Louder. But what's your experience? What was your experience like playing for that?
It was beautiful, being a nobody, not really, but like an unknown artist, like still feeling like the absolute love come from Danny. The catering, the whole like just hospitality of the festival was insane. Like treated so nicely, felt respected. Every band was just kind of like, "Oh, dude, sick set, what up, love," And it was just like a very like loving experience. Like Danny personally, shook my hand after our set and was just saying some kind words, and I was like, "Wow, like you came out here to watch,"
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy. And it's like it just felt like they all really like care about the industry. It wasn't just like a festival. It was like you could tell that was a family that wanted to see even the smaller bands win. Like they were like, it was just it warmed me, and I can't wait to do it again this Sunday at Aftershock. I can't wait to see him again and just shake his hand and say thank you one more time.
Yeah, hopefully you have better weather,
Yeah,
this weekend up there. But that's awesome. You get to do it again. Hopefully, you're talking about some of the cool places you got to like film your video at, but hopefully maybe you can get on the Incarceration Festival here in Ohio, because that's at the film where they film Shawshank Redemption, the Mansfield Reformatory.
That would be sick. I think next year will be a good one for us. This project's doing well. We'll see where it goes. We're right now 50th on Billboard charts, so we'll see. We'll just keep climbing, working, and striving for the next part. And all we can ever really do is just, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and just keep going with the flow, as we say. Life is still a journey, and I'll always say that, because it's one thing that, my therapist has always told me. Life is just a journey. And it's been a beautiful one, and I can't thank everyone enough. So if you're listening to the music, thank you. You're helping me achieve my dream and live it. And I hope that you guys at home are living yours, or at least trying to. But yeah, it's just, it's weird, It's like it doesn't even set in until I talk about it, and then it makes me all weird. And I'm just like,
No, it's good, man, because it's us being human, having a human conversation. So, and obviously, a lot of your, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You share your human side, and that translates through your music too.
Yeah.
And like literally like that album you showed, you bled for that, and looking forward to hearing more of it. Now, I know you've got your, the singles that have been out, but is there a particular track on this new album that you've really enjoyed performing live?
Mortal Sacrifice. Favorite song to perform live, because it's the song that we don't tell you is going to happen. It's kind of like, I just gave that away, but it's all over YouTube now. We basically play Bite Down, and we get everyone on their feet for that ending of the ba 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 ba, like at the end of Bite Down. And we're like, all right, last song, everybody up, clap, clap. And then we go, if you stayed seating, there's one more. And it's like, it's just that song, that like opening riff is just like, even like those low quality YouTube videos, I watch it and it gives me goosebumps. I'm like, wow, it just sounds like we worked so hard. We, hired MDs, hired sound guys, hired dudes who were good at playback, editing this part of the stem. So where it's like, because we love to play our own instruments, but we're not going to have this song with the samples we use if we don't have a little bit of the music where it's like the little samples here and there coming through the stems, but we don't want it to be so loud. We want it to be just right. So it's like, I work so hard on my live set to make it sound like you're sitting there and you're like, surround sound, this is the record coming at you live. You know, I might have a voice crack here and there, but this is it. I want you to hear the experience that I experienced creating it.
Nice. And then, what is if there was a message you could send back to like 12-year-old self with everything that you've learned so far, what would it be?
Wow. 12-year-old self. I promise you. Wow. That gave me chills. I
just us
promise
being
you
human,
will,
brother.
Yeah. I guess I would say to my 12-year-old self, I promise you will find happiness. Just keep going.
Yeah.
We
Nice.
got this. It's like, yeah, also just start recording sooner.
That's
like
awesome,
one of
man.
Yeah, I guess also don't be scared. I was always scared to put out music at a younger age. So, yeah, wow. That's going to stick with me for the rest of the day. I'm going to think about all the things and write them down in my notes that I would have told myself.
Well, good, man. I hope, that's why I like doing these interviews, man. It's just like,
Yeah.
I love talking about the music and the art and the creativity and stuff, but I also like just having a human conversation with a human being,
Yeah. I enjoyed it. This was a fun one.
Man. Yeah. So before we get ready and wrap up, man, I want to ask you a couple questions that I normally ask my guests that I have on.
Let's do it.
Now, you talked about some of your early influences, but who are your top 3 musical artists that you're listening to today?
Top 3. I'm going to just shamelessly plug my friends because I kind of only listen to my friends right now. It's so weird, but I mean, I'll mention one. I love Deftones have been a big thing in my headphones right now. Sachi 6, great friend, but just amazing artist. Beauty School Dropout, Noah Thomas, Freak, little bit of Bring Me. I just never say that because people always try to compare us. You know, British tattooed singer, they're like, oh, Bring Me. I'm like, no, it's different. Pink Floyd, Limp Bizkit. I kind of still listen to the older stuff, but like all the newer stuff I'm listening to is my friends. Like it's so weird. Like if I showed you my Spotify Wrapped, it's me listening to all my friends. It's so funny because it's like it's cooler. It's like I remember them making this. I remember them sending me the demo of this. Wow, now I'm listening to it out. Like, but I also like I'm a big like kind of like a creature of habit. So it's like once I start listening to a band, like I'll listen to that band for like a month or 2 on end. Like I've been listening to Deftones on repeat for like weeks. It just won't stop. And then I'll like grow a little tired of it and then I'll come back to it months later. So it's like, yeah, I mean, all over. Deftones, Bad Omens are great. I love Poppy. Poppy's sick.
Oh yeah. I missed her. I ended up leaving early to come home on Saturday, unfortunately. From Louder Than Life, so I missed her set. I was bummed.
Yeah.
But I saw the video of it.
Yeah, no, those are some of the bands I'm listening to.
Or I think she was Sunday, maybe. But
yeah, I think she was the last day.
Yeah. But all about going back to that Heart of Thorns thing, it's like my significant other was very worried, watching all this stuff going on, with the hurricane coming through and she, I was like, you know what? The old me would have just been like, well, screw it. I'm staying down here. But,
you got back.
I went back and it was fine. Yeah. So, and that's why we're able to celebrate a year now, coming up. So,
yeah.
And then, I want to ask you, what, looking back at some of your life experiences now as a young man in the world, what class do you feel should be mandatory before graduating high school today?
What classes?
Yeah.
Math, science, English. I think we should add a class called communication and, teach people more about communicating. But yeah, kind of just like the basics: math, science, English, history, because we need to learn.
Yeah.
And communication,
Yeah,
Keep
people
it
seem to
simple.
forget about history for sure.
Yeah, just don't go to college and, pick up one of these crazy courses that's like made up, it feels like. Like, oh, would you master it? And it's like, I mastered in the love of hats and coffee. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like that's what I would have done if I knew it was there. Like, but
Yeah, man, I agree. And a lot of people always tell me, finances or how to do your taxes too,
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. We need to learn that. That's something I wish I learned, but like moving from England, I didn't really understand it because it's like, it's so confusing.
Yeah.
It's still,
Yeah.
I'm like an adult now and I'm like,
It's almost like it's by design.
yeah, I'm like, do I really have to tell them everything? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, but really? Like, I know there's people out there not doing it. And he's like, just do it.
Yeah.
But no.
And then who are 3 people who've inspired you and you can credit for making you the person you are today?
Oh, wow. My mom, my dad, and my tattoo artist from Florida, David Graham. He took me
Nice.
in when I was in a rock bottom spot and just kind of like let me hang around the shop. And I owe that man my life. I can't wait to buy him a car one day.
Nice. Shout out to David. And then are there any causes or organizations that you support and encourage others to check out?
There's one that Danny Wimmer does with the Sober Friends. Have you seen that?
I've seen the sober tent there.
Yeah,
that they have set up.
he has one, Sober Friends, I think it's called. I might be botching that, so definitely double check that. But that and yeah, I think that's really the only one. Just there's a lot of causes now that I see, but sometimes they're not all what they seem.
Yeah. Now, Danny was kind enough at this past year's Sonic Temple. I was there as a guest then too, and with some of my mutual friends that are sober in the industry, and he let us actually use his office to have like an impromptu little meeting and stuff. So
yeah, he's a great guy.
So much love for Danny Wimmer and all he does for the the military armed forces. Being a retired vet myself, I look so forward to those. They're like going away for like a spiritual retreat, for me.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, no, that's the only really one I got to look into more. But it seems like sometimes I look into some and they're not what they seem. So
no,
yeah.
I agree. And then, what was your favorite toy as a child?
Wow. The drums, believe it or not. I had a mini green sparkle kit, and I used to love causing a ruckus because my mom would get mad. Just troublemaker.
Nice. And then, any message that you have for our military members that are currently serving overseas?
Just thank you for your service and stay safe, keep each other safe, and I hope you guys get home soon, guys and girls. It's like the craziest thing is people don't really know what goes on over there until you've gone, and I can't speak for that because I've never done it. So just thank you. I promise you this country will get better, and I appreciate everything you're doing.
Yeah, that's an awesome message, man. And it's like, it's like I got 2 daughters, and it's like sometimes I look at everything going on in this country, and I'm just like, man, I had a good run. This is it. But I like to hear the younger generation, like, hey, we're ready to step up and make this a better place. And I want it to be a better place for, for my kids and stuff. It's funny too, because when I was listening to you at the gym earlier to get ready today, a lot of the music, influences, like my daughters are actually fans. My oldest daughter's a big fan of Lil Lotus and stuff too. So I was like,
oh, cool.
hey,
Yeah.
check this dude out, man. So it's cool how generational the music has come, especially in your family and everything, man. So
yeah,
I appreciate.
Right when I can hear now the people outside cutting the grass, and I'm just like, that's so loud.
Well, we're almost done, man. I'll let you go enjoy the sound of landscaping being done.
Thank you so much.
Before we get ready to wrap up, for fans that are new to hearing about you and want to support and check it out and order that vinyl, where would you send them?
JagerHenry.com, www.jagerhenry.com, or Jager Henry on Spotify and Apple Music. That's where you can find the music. We have vinyls, CDs, and new merch all available now. And if you enjoy it, support it. If you don't, just stream it a couple times. Thank you.
Awesome. And then one last favor before I let you go, man. You mind cutting a promo ID for the show? Just introduce yourself, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Boondoggle?
Yeah.
What's up, guys? This is Jager Henry, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
Awesome. Jagger, man, thank you so much, dude. It was great talking with you. And, we'll try and connect
I got
with
your number and email, so I'll reach out.
Awesome. Be great to catch up with you when you come through town, and I'll make sure I let Mr. Eberhardt know that you got a shout out too.
Thank you. Appreciate
All
it,
right.
man. Have a good one.
You too.